Hello, third and fourth graders. Are you ready for a little poetry this week? Hey, good news though, it's your last workbook pages, so you'll be done with all of it after this. Keep in mind, after you get your papers back Tuesday, you will have the whole chapter for your last test of the year in language arts. So go ahead as soon as you're ready, and you'll be getting that chapter 15 test in your mailbox stuff this week. Go ahead and do that as soon as you feel like you've studied enough, and it will be your strong finishing grade for that. The poetry pages that I've assigned this week for both third and fourth grade are different, but they're similar in some of the things that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to go over it all together in one video, but just know that third graders, you are doing a sound poem. So you're going to pick a topic, usually a noun or just something that you want to describe that makes sounds or that has words in it that you can use some of these devices we're going to talk about. Third grade is doing sound. Fourth grade, you're doing a haiku, which is a very specific kind of poetry, and I'm including some links and some things in your homework slides to help you with that. And you are also doing an acrostic poem, which is really kind of an easy, fun one that third graders, if you want to jump on and do too, that would be great. So we're going to talk a little bit about those after I introduce some of the concepts that the chapter goes over. So one of the first things that you're going to see is that you're going to be doing the writing process. You're going to make drafts and edit, publish, and all that stuff just so you come up with a really great end product. And that's the only part of that chapter I need you to turn in to me. If you want to do it on a computer, that would be great. If you want to type it out and use some fun fonts or something with your acrostic poem or anything like that, you can try a word cloud if you want to. Wordart.com I think is a really good site for doing word art. That would be a cool way to publish something in a creative kind of way. Or if you just want to do it on notebook paper, that's fine too. But all I need from these chapters is the final product, and it will be in your portfolio. So if you want to do it kind of fancy, that would be great. All right. Now, with that being said, some of the things that are discussed in your chapter are poetry elements, we call them. And so they're devices or poetry elements that you look for when you are writing or reading poetry. And the first one is exemplified right here. Now, I know that you are going to recognize this pretty quickly as a tongue twister. And tongue twisters are kind of an exaggerated use of one of these poetic devices. Okay, so let's read this one. This was one I picked one deliberately that I didn't think you would know. And I want you to kind of figure out what you think alliteration is based on this tongue twister, because tongue twisters use alliteration to the extreme. So here is the tongue twister. I may get my tongue twisted, so just be ready. All right. Black bug bit a big black bear, but where is the big black bear that the big black bug bit? Good question. All right, so what do you notice happening in a tongue twister, right? You see repetitiveness or repetition of the same sound at the beginning. That is actually what alliteration is. It's when you create kind of interest by using the same letter at the beginning of some words that are close together in the poem. And it doesn't have to be as extreme as a tongue twister, but even if it was just the big black bug bit a bear, that could be a first line of a poem that uses this kind of rhythm or this kind of a device. Okay, so that's one that's common, and it's in both of your chapters, using alliteration to create kind of pleasant sounds or just something that kind of catches the ear of the reader. All right, the next poem that I'm going to show you is going to be utilizing several of the devices that come up. One of them is rhyme, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that because I know you've been doing that since preschool, but rhyme is just simply using words that end with the same sound. Now remember, it's sound and not necessarily the same letters. So you can't just kind of pick words that end with the same letters and assume they're going to rhyme. You really have to listen to the sound at the end of those words to know if they're rhyming words, and that's something that kids often get a little confused about. So this is a poem called Crack an Egg, and I thought that was kind of fun since we had our sweet chef come and do the eggs with us as our recipe. So here it is. See if you can figure out what my next, I guess, poetic device is. Ready? Crack an egg. Crack an egg. Stir the butter. Break the yolk. Make it flutter. Stoke the heat. Hear it sizzle. Shake the salt. Just a drizzle. Flip it over just like that. Press it down, squeeze it flat. Pop the toast, spread the jam thin. Say the word, breakfast's in. by Denise Rogers. So this is a poem that uses rhyme. Obviously, I see the rhyming words, flutter and butter, sizzle and drizzle, okay, that and flat, thin and in. So I see rhyming words happening, and there's poetry styles, and there's poetry like A, B, and there's all those kinds of little patterns and things to look for. But we're going to keep it pretty simple for you guys. And I want you just to think about rhyme, alliteration, and then there is also something going on here, and that is called onomatopoeia. Okay, and onomatopoeia is a big fancy word kids love to say, but it really is describing is words that make a sound or sound like the sound they're describing. So for example, the hiss of a snake. The word hiss sounds like a hiss, so that would be a word that's showing onomatopoeia. Can you see others in this poem? And I kind of did, I will say, tried to emphasize those a little bit. Okay, so we start right here in the title, crack, because that can sound like a crack, can't it? You can just hear that as it's happening. You can get kind of more specific or picky and say even stir because you're whirring around could be one. Make it flutter. I think flutter kind of almost sounds like one. Stoke. I love that. Hear the shake or the sizzle. Sizzle is a good one. Drizzle. Flip. Press. Squeeze, if you say it the right way. Pop for sure is one. Okay, so tons of sound words in this. Anything like pow or zoom or bark. Animal sounds are oftentimes onomatopoeia words. So you're going to be using this as one of your devices that you're going to try to incorporate into at least one of your poems, okay? So we've got alliteration, repeating the same consonant sounds. We've got onomatopoeia, sound words that actually make a sound that they're describing. You've got some rhythm and rhyme that you're going to try to incorporate in there as well. And so I think that the chapters do a really nice job of walking you through that and helping you get that plan set up and accomplished. I have videos on your slideshows that will also help you with a few of these things to help with just how to apply them. A lot of times we can define something, but we're not sure how to actually do it or apply it ourselves. So that's going to be what you're going to do with the chapter. Okay? So again, finish strong. This is your last part of that English workbook that you're going to have to do. The rest we'll be doing just some fun review stuff and kind of cleaning up the last bits of little things that were left undone. So again, you got this. Do a great job. I love it. And I will warn you that a lot of times people go, oh, poetry, I don't want to do poetry. And then they end up having a really good time with it. So enjoy it. Let it be something fun that you express your creativity through. And I will check on you guys later. See ya.